Well, welcome leaders, 7K leaders. That's what we're doing, leadership training. Getting to see the bigger picture. And even if you just been in a week or 2 weeks, and you're hearing this recording, or you're here tonight, you just happen to log in, found it, it's okay. In fact, it's all right. In fact, I want leaders to make sure they share this with everyone after they've got a familiarization. They do their first homework on that first video assignment, that the getting started, where they do their onboarding, they do their quick start training, they do the website walkthrough, they watch the web strategies, they get the basic training in. And that's what we're talking about, getting some basic training in before you go talking to prospects, because we don't want you to wait to have somebody to talk with prospects with you. No, that can't happen. You're going to have to learn enough information that you can say the right peak interest things, and with enough basic understanding and knowledge of what you have in your hands. That's what we're talking about. Okay, so I wanted to get that point across real quick. Now, those that have networking experience, that have already skills and certain attitudes and techniques built up, of course, you can do it simultaneously, where you're pulling together. You already know that you can talk to your top 5, top 10 people, and even if they don't join you on the first time you talk to them, they're going to join you because you have that type of relationship and you're there. And even those that don't, understand that you are going to always be able to go back to everyone, even if you thought you messed it up really bad, because you're going to eventually talk to everyone 7 times over a period of 2 years. And it's your duty to do that. You owe it to them. And every time you make a new milestone in achievement, you need to share that and learn how to share that. That's all in part of training. But some of the things I want to talk about tonight is making sure you learn other stories, other people's stories. And I'm going to share a few of them with you tonight. But, when we were starting off the call, just kind of meeting and greeting everyone, I was recognizing Woodrow Venable. I mean, he's older than me. Yeah. And so is George Donaldson. Those are the first 2 people I tell everybody about, that after I got my business family pack. Now, what's that? Well, I sponsored my spouse and I sponsored our company. Okay. And I put one on the left, one on the right. I was an associate before I ever opened my mouth to anyone. Okay. Because I wanted us to be on top and have a chance to build a true legacy forever, and then build the business underneath those 2, where I'm working on my top center, my top main membership. That's what we work on. And you'll learn that concept and that strategy. Do not work on 3 memberships at one time, unless you're already a 7-figure earner in network marketing, because you will mess your business up. That's a guarantee. Now, what you do want to do is build that top center until you're at least the goal. And then you can work on the other centers. And because, you've got a basic organization, now you can help your spouse or your company and help it start earning a leveraged income off that center. We'll talk about that. I'll give you a pictorial of that in just a second. But, we built our business on strictly what I call the organic way of building business. What's organic? Meaning I know people, I have a circle of influence. Everyone has their own circle of influence. You get this in your associate basic training, and part of my training in building your list. And everyone must build a list of 500 people in that first 2 years. Everyone. If you want to make the big money, then you got to do the things that I'm trying to tell you to do. If you're not willing to do that, then don't expect to make the big money. I mean, you might luck out, but don't expect it, because you'll just frustrate yourself. What I want you to do is understand that if you put the time in to do these basic, simple things, and you don't have to just spend 480 hours a week or 70 hours a week doing them, you do something with your business every single day. And so that's why you can build it as I built it. I built it part-time, not full-time. And with those 2 older fellows on my left and 4 people in different states, not where I live. Now, these 2 were right here in the same, within an hour drive of each other, around Baton Rouge. I'm outside of Baton Rouge. Woodrow's an hour drive from my home, and George is in the center, basically. And they were retired. They had to go back to work. And they all had that same excuse. I don't have enough money. Wow, how can I join? So I don't have enough money. And this is where you're going to learn how to ask the right questions, handling objections. That's several trainings I have on that. Even in your associate training, you have some of the basics. But the best one is the one I always use. Don't have enough money. Well, what's going to happen next year? The year after that? It's only going to get worse if you don't do something different than you're doing now. To think you're going to have different results without doing something different, that's plain, as Einstein says, insanity. So let's pull out the credit card. Let's just start the work and start a plan B that can give you an extra income stream and get some 1099 tax benefits, which you need. All of them agreed with me. They jumped in. We're all making money, still together today. So what I want to share with you tonight is some of those stories. And the Collins family, Todd, executive go on his way to be presidential, has his mother, Kathy, his dad, Craig, his brother, his wife. He's got a business family pack now. He's learned about it. He didn't start that way, but he didn't know about that in the beginning. But he made corrections real quick. And the sooner you do it, the better off you are. And they're a prime example. And we have the Stelly family in our group before them. That's that 18-year-old that became a goal, was the youngest goal in the company before Joey Zerniak became a goal at 16. But he has an LLC and his Zerniak family's in the business. So we're creating family legacies. And my children are in the business. They don't have the rank. But my children are kind of spoiled. They know they're going to inherit my business. And so they have double and triple six-figure incomes already. And so they see in the best of both worlds. Well, that's my children, okay? But I told them, I may not make presidential here. It's going to be up to them to make this sucker to presidential. I'm not going to work that hard to do it, okay? I'm pretty fat and happy with being a gold and maxing that check every week. And then my wife being a gold, but she's paid as a silver, okay? But we're working on her still. So now you know a little bit about it, but it took us 5 years to get there. And, you know, I didn't know Phil Godlewski. I didn't know Todd Collins. I didn't know Tarita in Hawaii, Gary Gosselin in Hawaii. I didn't know Shane Vaughn, who's goal over in, what's the name of that city in Mississippi down on the coast? I just forgot the name of it. But he's known as Professor Toto in the conservative world. You know, this business brings people together. It creates whole new spheres of influence. And that's one of the advantages of it. The reason I'm telling you this is these are things that you need to learn how to relate to your potential new team members. There's more than just the tangible benefits of accumulating wealth, increasing an extra stream of cash flow income while you're building a residual income for the rest of life. Remember that phrase, because you've got to get that one down pat if you want to make the big money. And if you want to make even a $500 per week residual check for the rest of your life. Now, what I want to share with you tonight is those advantages. Why is 7K different? You'll hear people saying, well, I know those binaries. Binaries is no good. We make more money at the multi-tiered or the unitary or these other complex. Well, yes, a lot of people with other type of binaries in the industry past, that may be true. But on those multi-tiered unitary businesses, you had to have a very big sphere of influence. You had to work extremely hard. And if you weren't first in, I mean, really first in and did all of that, you did not have the chance to make the truly big incomes, because it was a true fact that you had to get in at the very, very beginning to make the big, big money. But that is so untrue with 7K, and you need to learn some of those distinctions. And I'm going to share with you some of those, because I along with Josh Anderson, and we put together this current comp plan. And it's a comp plan that I had developed, and Richard knows, a few people, George knows, a lot of people know it that know me well. I developed back in 1998, 99, and because we would work the binary, and it was a flush binary. It didn't hold volume, didn't hold bank, didn't do any of these things. And when we turned our steps or our cycles or whatever, I mean, it flush on side, and we starting over all the next week. And yeah, you know, the people at the top did have an advantage, but I wasn't at the top in that business either. But it's the people who build the largest organization on the left and right in those binaries are the ones that really win. But everybody can make money. Woodrow was in that business with me years ago, and Woodrow made more money part-time than made his full-time job. And he worked, you know, at Georgia Pacific as a carpenter, and in the utilities section. But he accumulated wealth at the same time. And so this one becomes a no-brainer when you can accumulate volume, you can carry over volume on both sides. Oh, wow. That's never happened before. That's why we have leadership points. And then you can actually earn product through other points called loyalty points. Now, those of you that seen my video training on that, and if you haven't, you need to go get it. It's called a 7K advanced training on cycles, loyalty points, leadership points, and it's in my top 20, the hashtag number, and you'll find it's in different bands, it's different numbers. But you need to master that. You need to master my short 18, 19-minute video on cycles. If you want to really learn this comp plan, you need to master it. And then if you really want to know how it works and how it builds, you watch the longer step-by-step. But, you know, that was when we had it maxed out at 7,000 a week. Now we go up to 12,500 a week, and we're going to be going up higher. But that doesn't matter. It's still the same thing. You build whatever you achieve, then you can teach somebody else how to do it because you already achieved it. So when you become an associate, you know that's one on the left, one on the right. If you start a business family pack, you already know how to duplicate that real easy. And if they don't start with a business family pack, that's okay. That's their fault, not yours. And they just need to get one on the left and one on the right. They'll eventually end up with a business family pack. And I've got a training on that that shows you that. And you will learn that. So these things you need to master. You need to watch these things as many times as you can until you can explain that to someone else without watching a video, but then you can give them the video that they can do the same thing so they can understand it. So it's basically, this is a teaching business and one that you have to make a commitment with one another. So it is a one another business. And you need to hook up with people, to team up with people. And what better than having a family business that then expands your family? That's the optimum of the business. So let me share my screen, go over some of the points that I want about what's different about this comp plan, because you're going to run into people that are going to be very hard-headed. I'm serious about that. I've talked to some fairly large networkers over this last few months, and some of them I've talked. I hadn't even talked directly to them. They talk to the person that's trying to sponsor them, but they don't talk to me. But then they have this view, since they're pretty big in networking, that well, I'm going to choose another company because I can make more money. I can sponsor 400, 500, 600 people. I can do that already. I know I can do that. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you about those kind of people. They can make twice as much money with this company and keep their people in the business longer than they can with any of those companies if they put in those same 600 people the way we share, the way we rank bill. Because see, all the other businesses, and I'll go there, I want to explain it first, then I'll illustrate it. All the other businesses, let's say multi-tiered business, that's called multi-level. You got to have so many wide, and you got to have personal volume every month, and every one of them's got to have personal volume, but they got to have group volume, and they have to have a certain rank before they can achieve these top levels, so they can get paid percentages down the tiers. And of course, you do have bigger groups, and as it does, it expands and it grows. But here's the problem with those businesses. And I did them. That's when I first entered network marketing. I did multi-level marketing plan. I mean, that's what I did. And so I know firsthand exactly what the problems are. Most people can't attain those group volumes and keep them up. They have to buy so much more extra product. And that's where you get these things. Well, you can't give it away at a garage sale. You certainly can't sell it, or it expires because you got so much of it, you can't eat it, you can't drink it, you can't use it, and it has an expiration date on it. and so it just goes bad unless you're giving it away. Okay. And here we never have that problem just because of our product. I don't think any of you are going to be giving away a lot of gold and silver because you got too much of it. and so, you know, nobody's going to ever get mad at you because you stuck them with a garage load full of gold and silver. I promise you that. But you will have a lot of people get mad at you if they bought that dream and they worked hard for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and they're barely making a $500 check a month. They may not even be making but an average of $100 every month. They spend tons more money than they're making, and even more money than they get their 1099 tax benefits. And that's why some people get frustrated and that have tried and done even more, maybe a second time or a third time. And when you're talking to them, they already have these bad experiences. What your job is to show them how it's different. And information is free. And so you do have to spend time, if they're willing to spend time, and just not be so aggressive and annoyed with them. You got to have a little patience. But see, that comes with time. That's when you have time. I want you to understand, when you're first starting and you're building your business, you don't need to do that. You don't need to waste your time with that. You are sifting through everybody you know with peak interest skills and scripts that you've learned, that you like, that fits you, and that are proven, not ones you're developing. And I've got tons of them. They're all in my training. And Zach has them in his trainings and the company trainings, what I call the basic 101s. You've got to learn how to pitch that peak interest statement and send them a video and follow up until they have watched that video. If they haven't watched that video, they have no chance of knowing what they're missing, or they have a chance to be part of. So your job is to, even if you have to go and watch the video with them somehow, cup of coffee or whatever, but it's hard for our distance. That has to only be done through a Zoom or through getting them watching and a lot of follow-up. But so let me share with you the points that I want to illustrate tonight on the differences of the comp plan. And then the main point that I want all of you to learn more than anything else, and it goes for even a person that, you know, they're in here, they've been here a year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe even 4 years or 5 years, and you're still not making a regular $500 check every single week yet. That's okay. What if it takes you 10 years? What else are you doing in your life that you can accumulate wealth, earn some extra income, get 1099 benefits while you're working toward developing an extra residual stream of income for the rest of your life? And so what if it took you 10 years or 12 years? This company's got a lot of growth. This company's got, you know, it's got to hit its 10-year mark. It's got to hit its 15-year mark, its 20-year mark, its 25, its 30, its 50th. So you got plenty of time. And then it can become a legacy business too. So where else could you even pass down that? And it's at $4.99 a year for your membership plus your renewal each year, $105 a month to keep your business open, make you eligible to make a check. That's the point I'm also going to illustrate on paper and pen. It's going to be on a whiteboard, an electronic one. So with that said, I want to share my screen real quick for you. And we're going to kind of go back and forth on sharing the screen because I'm going to have to use two screens and a board. But, you know, everybody knows, and if you don't know, my system is 7 pieces of paper, and I have a video that explains it, trains it several times, but it's 2 years to learn the skills, attitudes, and techniques, 3 to 5 years to build a big business. So if you build it to 500 a week, or 1,000 a week, or 2,000 a week, 3,500 a week as a silver, 7,000 a week as a goal, 10,000 a week as an executive goal, or 12,500 a week as a presidential. Where else could you do that? Learn to ask that question, learn how to use these tools, and then there's that commitment. And if you're not doing this, don't expect any income results like that. You're just getting the gravies, okay? You're just getting lagniappe. But if you put that 10 hours a week in, learning and doing, then you will do it. And so we tell you what it is. This is what I want to talk about, okay? And then understanding the fact that exponential expansion, those teams grow like this. And so what if it took 12 years for you to have 2,000 people on one side and 2,000 people on the other side, or 20,000 people on one side and 1,000 people on the other side? That's a residual income. It's going to be enough to make more than that $500 check. Okay, because all you need is 100 on each side. Okay, so, and you don't have to get them all. And we know that networking works. It's a proven industry. And this is the thing you got to work on every day. And this is what you got to get your beliefs in. And if you can't build these beliefs up in those first 2 years, see, the faster you can do this, the faster you're going to succeed. So let me go to that chart. And so hopefully tonight with this one illustration, these several illustrations, but the one I'm going to do at the end will finally give you that belief that it get like that, stick you in that you're a 7K lifer, no matter what. Okay. And so how is that? Well, there's that business family pack. So understand that's what I mean by business family pack. Okay. But if you start just as a single that you come in, you're going to start here, and then you got a left and right, and you got to sponsor one on your left, one on the right, and then you become an associate. That's the way everybody does. Okay. But if this is yours and your spouse's and your company, bingo, you're an associate already, and you're on top. You're on top, just like I teach. Now, you are going to sponsor this person. You are going to sponsor that person. That's your first business person. And if they come in with a business family pack, like you did, right there, then you've got 2 personal sponsors on the right that you personally sponsored in place, 2 personally sponsored that you personally sponsored. Well, you're a copper automatically. Yeah. How about that? And you did it with 9 membership sales. 4 on this side, 4 on this side, and your own. So you only had 4 on each side. Okay. A copper enables you to do what? Make $1,000 a week. Now you got your rank ahead of your business. So remember some of that. You'll hear that again in my detailed trainings on the comp plans. But what I want to share with you is this. Let's say, you know, forget this. Let's say this is the top. This is you. This is a person that's been in the business for 2 years, a year, 3 years, 4 years. You don't have anything over here yet. But you got a lot on one side. And that's the beauty of this binary, unlike the multi-tiered business. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my whiteboard, I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to give those differences between a multi-tiered, multi-level business and show you what I'm talking about, so you can have a better feel in this discussion that you will have in the future, if you're not already incurring some of these discussions right now. And we're going to address this real quick, get it out of the way so I can give you the longer term view. That's the most important thing that we're going to do. Okay. What I'm going to do is forget about our boxes and ranks and things that are right there, because we're not going to be talking about that. We're going to be down here, like this stuff doesn't exist on the board. I could move it away and then write, and then maybe that wouldn't. Why don't we do that? Let me get it out of y'all's way. That won't confuse you. Okay. If that's all right. Okay. Let me get some ink going on here. And let's say a multi-level business that's you. And some businesses means that you got to have a personal volume of your own, a personal sales volume, and a group sales volume. Now, group sales volume is everybody in your group that you personally sponsor and they sponsor, okay? Sometimes it's just the personal sponsors. That's even harder. Okay, so some businesses let you sponsor 1, 2, and then you get a rank, okay? Then if you sponsor 3 personally, it goes just like that. They're all, you sponsored these people, and they're all on you what you call the first tier, your first level. Some do, then you do 4, then 5. Most of them are like that. At 5, you're going to get another rank. So what's that rank going to do? You have your first tier, you have your second tier. How's your second tier? Each tier, each of these people sponsor people just like you did on your second level or second tier. Everyone's like that. And then that's how they get ranked, okay? All the way underneath it like that. Now, for you to really make the big ones, ours is presidential, right? So you got to sponsor what? 12 on the left, 12 on the right. You got to have one executive goal on your left, one executive goal on your right. Well, the tiers are just like that. I'm going to show y'all the difference real quick with this. So if you had to do the same thing, you would have to have 12 people on your front line, and 2 of those 12 would need to become executives goals. And this is a presidential goal. And then they have 12 going this way, okay? But there's a secondary requirement here. They've got to have the personal value. We got to all have what? 15 points. Well, that's minimum $105, right? In your autosaver, state autosaver. Here they got to buy so much product, but theirs is not dollar for dollar, not a 1, because they're all consumption. And even in other metals business, because I know just about every one of them out there, even in other metals, they're not 1 for 1 like we are. We're dollar for dollar, basically. Our points, even though they're 15, the equivalent, when we look at it, I don't want to get too technical. That's getting too technical for everybody. Okay, let's get down to just the differences. Group volume, personal volume. That's all it takes. Okay. Now, when they do this, these people, some of them don't rank. This is the 3rd tier. They have here. Now, then you have the 4th tier and the 5th tier. And so you get a percentage every time you get a rank. Let's say you're an associate means you got one on your left and one on your right. Well, you got to have two here to get that equivalent $500 check. Well, there's no consumption business and a multi-tier. There's not one that you can sponsor two people. They get that first level and you're going to get a $500 check a week. That's $2,000 a month. There's not one ever in existence. Not one in all the years of multi-level marketing. So right there tells you for the average, for the 80%er, they got a 99% chance better of achieving in our binary, and I'll show you that in a second, because they can make 500 a week just by having one on the left and one on the right. And all they had to do was stay active. Okay. Now, if you get that top level, maybe you get, 10% on your first level. Well, that's only 10% of what they bought personal sales volume. Now, some companies have a group sales volume, whatever their group is, that group, this group, see, the group goes here. If you're only going to the second level, that would be the group. If you're going just the first level, it's just that, the personal sales volume. So depending on what your rank is. So they may give, 5% on that. Or some may just give you a percentage of the group as you hit a certain level. Either way, the concept is they give you a percentage of the group. And then if you achieve another one, you've sponsored 5, then you'll get this a lower percentage, maybe 8% and 3% on the second tier. And then maybe on the third tier, if you go up and you're a silver, you get 6% and 2%. Or if they only have one, maybe you get 15%, 10%, 7%, and then, drop down if they only have 1%, or if they give you double percentages on group and personal with certain qualifications. They always have an extra qualification for that group and sales volume. Okay, so what this means is you not only have to have your 12 or your 15, these people have got to also build large groups. And if you do the minimums, I did minimums many times, which was like, let's take the average position on a multi-level and go up to maybe their second rank only. And only the person at the top gets that. He's the only one or she's the only one that gets that rank. Everybody else is only, the first level. Let's say some of them get that next lower rank, and then some of these get that next lower rank. Some of these, that's the optimum. That's the maximum that could be made in that business. What I want to show you is this. That income cuts off right there. Either it goes 5 tiers down, 6 tiers down, 7 tiers down. There are some that go 8, but man, their percentages aren't high up here and they're very, very low down at the 8th level, okay, on the 8th tier, because they're counting group. For people to achieve this is why they get so frustrated with network marketing, because if people are only making that minimum check of that smallest level, they're not even making $100 a month. They're spending much more than that to stay active and to meet their group and personal volumes. And that's why they have so many dropout rates. Or they say, well, I got in too late. I got to go start over here. And they end up hopping from one deal to the next deal. and they get with a lot of startup companies that are destined, they're designed to go out of business. And that's part of the problem in network marketing or multi-level marketing. There's many of those that are around, and that's why most of them do not last 2 years, 3 years, and 98.8% don't ever make it to 5 years. Guess who made it to 5 years? 7K. And the companies that make it to 5 years have more than an 85% chance of making it to 30. Well, that's pretty good probability in business statistics. So if you understand you got to go this many wide to get that check, or you only have to go 3, but they got to have groups to get that $500 a month check. Okay, so let's bring this back down and let's talk that binary and do the same thing. Okay, here's our binary. Now, you've got to have one person here, one person here, but let's just say, you know, this starts building and this starts building. You got a lot of people building. Remember that chart I showed you? And then over time, you get 1,000 people. Let's say you get 100. And here you got a couple and they stop. Here you got a couple. Oh, they stop. You know, here you get a couple and they stop. Man, you know, after 2 years, you may only have 1 active, but you've made money. And then you've got all this volume that you didn't get paid on, because if you got 100 people and if they averaged getting, you know, some came in at $4.99, some came in at 50, let's just do an average of 100. You got 100 people. So you had 100 times that, you had 10,000 points just from memberships there. And then you've got 2 years. So you got volume coming up each month for the 15 points for 12 months times 2, 24 months times 100. Or let's say 100 don't buy a coin every month. Let's make math really easy. Let's say only 50% of them do. So, and let's make math easy. Let's just say we got a 20-point coin. So 20 times 50 is 100 times 24 months, right? That'll give you 2,400. Okay, and that adds to that. So let's say you only made a $500 check that first year and a $500 check the second year. You could have never made that in that multi-level marketing program. Do you understand? You would have never even qualified for the first level. But here, you would have made $1,000 plus got your 1099 tax benefit, and you accumulate gold and silver, or you accumulate 1 product of silver at least every month. And you've got now a balance. If you got paid, let's say a 500 and 500 first year, second year, you got $1,000 that you had. So you now have 11,400 points that you're carrying over into your 3rd year, and you got 0 over here. Okay. And now you're going into your 3rd year. Now here, this grows exponentially. It doesn't matter what you do. So we know now that you were placed on somebody's left side, okay? Because that's the overflow side. That's your bank side, okay? Those points stay. The big difference in 7K's comp plan. Now, if these people just average 1 person, some are going to get a lot, Some are going to get 30 or 40 in the first month or so. I mean, they're hot. Some are even going to get much more than that. But let's just say they average one the next year. Now your group over here is 200 instead of 100. And hey, you got to have renewals. Now you got more, you got double. If only half of them are buying the coin still, you got double the volume going in your bank. And you're going to get a bank that's going to build up to 200,000. You're going to get a bank that'll build up to 500,000. You're going to get a bank that'll build up to almost 2 million, like some of my people. Well, here's what I tell those people. And it's what I'm going to tell everyone, and you need to learn how to communicate this to yourselves and everybody in your organization. They do not even have to get the person. All they have to do is keep fishing, keep trying, keep throwing out the hook, keep throwing out the bait. Don't ever stop that. Don't ever stop that job description. Don't ever stop meeting new people and piquing their interest because you may not sponsor personally that person. But let's say a person sponsored them, or this person, and placed them here, or this person sponsored a person. It doesn't even have to be in this line. Or this person. Oh, I hate this when it draws circles for me. It's hard to undo. And let's say it's this person. Okay. This person goes, wow. This person starts building. This person is a Todd Collins, a Phil Godlewski, a Nandi, a Bob Reid, whoever, a Wayne Clark. Okay, but you know, they don't even have to be that. Here's what I want to show you. If they start making a $500 check, they got to have 500 on the left, 500 on the right, right? Well, that flows up right there, just like that, all the way here to that side, and you got 1,000 points over here. Now, if you're just an associate, you're just going to make $500. So I've already showed you that. And that's okay. You got 500,000, 200,000, 11, whatever points you got over here, that's okay. It's going to zero it out, and then when they make 500 again, another 1,000 is going to come up, and that 1,000 gets deposited in every one of their accounts that it went through all the way to you. So they have the same opportunity you do. These people have the same opportunity that you do as we're building in the future. Everybody starts with nothing on their left and nothing on their right. Everyone. But people 10 years from now will have the same opportunity to make 12,500 a week, or 7,000 a week, or 500 a week. Now, here's what I want to try and share with you. If this happens, even if you didn't personally sponsor, remember your business family pack. Who wouldn't sponsor their spouse, place them on their left, sponsor a company? Oh, I hate that. I got to turn that thing off some way. Because I can't erase this, see? I have to undo it. And I don't want to do that. It takes me away from doing my training for y'all. And sponsor their company, or their mother, or their daddy, or their son, or their uncle, or their brother, or their sister. It doesn't matter. They can even pay for them. So I'm going to share what I mean. Let's say here they are 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years from now, this happens. 8 years, 9 years, 10 years from now, this happens finally on their pay side. They didn't even sponsor the person. Okay, this, they would want to have the $4.99. But I'm going to even just show you what I call where you pay in a fee. $199 times 3. That's this, this, and this. That's $598. $105 times 3. That's $315. One here, one here, one here, every month. So who wouldn't pay $598 a year, $315 a month to get their coins if they got 1,000 points coming up, or just 500 points coming up every week, or between 500 and 1,000? Because see, 500 times 52 weeks is $26,000 per year. So basically you pay $315, you get 3 valuable coins, you get $2,000 extra a month. It's a business. Look at it like a business, a big business. And this is what you've got to be able to sit down or through a Zoom convey or use my video until we do it. Since I'm talking illustrations and comp plan, I've got to put up our income disclosure statement because I've talked about incomes and I've given illustrations, but this is the long-term view. And you've got to get good of understanding that, how it can happen to you. And if you get good at understanding that, then you'll be able to get a lot more of the people you're talking to that you want in business with. You'll be able to close more of your potential prospect teammates with you. And you use the tools that I provided you to explain the comp plan and to validate them, even this one. Now you want to use the others first, but I want you to learn how to do that illustration, how to show that. Even if you have to practice it over and over and over until you get it, because this is what this is all about. This is that person that I was just talking about. And this person, if they have this volume and they got that 12,000, they're going to make a $500 check in 2 years. And I'm going to show you that because they're buying a coin every month. And if they're buying a 20-point coin, they're going to have 240 points on this side, their pay side. They have not personally sponsored a person on the left. They have not personally sponsored a person on the right. They're just got all their bank volume. And yeah, they need to be doing this. They're accumulating wealth, getting 1099 tax benefits, let their tax dollars do this for them, have belief, have patience, have understanding. Success comes with a price. And this is what I call the slow road, the turtle approach to success. And then their second year, they still haven't enrolled anyone. No one on their left, no one on their right, but now they'll get to the point in the year they got 450 points on this side. Now it's time to enroll their company and their spouse. They enroll their spouse, put them over here, enroll their company or their brother, their aunt, their uncle, their mother, their sister, their brother. And even if they have to pay for it, for them to be in business with them, and even if you let them have the coin. I just showed you the economics of that. And maybe you get a business partner, call a trial membership. and you paid for it. Well, it pays you back. So why not do it? It's in the family. And so you got one on your right, one on your left. You get a $500 check, and your memberships are paid for by the check. They're $199, $199. You come out positive net cash flow ahead. You don't have to buy a product here every month if you don't want to. But if you then understand you got some success, you already earning a check. You just validated those 1099 tax benefits with the IRS because you're trying to make a profit. You made a check. Now you pursue the business just like I explained. And if it takes you 10 years for that to happen on your pay side, it would have never happened and you'd have never made a check in a multi-tiered business. But 80% of our people or more will make much more in this than they will in any multi-level, uni-level, other type of comp plan, or especially any other binary, because you're going to make much more with us than you will. And our products are what? Gold and silver. Well, I'm going to share my screen one more time with you because I want you to, we'll go back to that again. And we're gonna, before I get to the income disclosure statement at the end here, which I got to display it, I want to bring up the points that you want to show. And you got lots of illustration. George Donaldson, Delton Kaysen, who I sponsored in Arkansas, Delton, and never had a season, Deltonson. Now they got silver. They got everything in stack and sell. They don't spend it. And you got two of them in your presentation. Eddie Spears. Look, this is that person buying just that coin every month for 2 years. They build up a collection of wealth, real wealth that gains value, and they get an understanding of what we have as our unique 7K exclusive rare products that gain value faster than bullion. It's our products that give us that opportunity to earn even more money. Our bullion is our insurance. Our collectibles are our diversification, and we're doing that through that product we buy every month instead of lotions, pills, potions. Here's a Black Hawk helicopter pilot. Almost didn't do 7K because he tried networking before and it never worked for him. The lotions, potions, multi-tiered businesses. But it was gold and silver, so he just got in. He didn't even pursue the business, but he shared it with his son. His son made a check before he did. And that caught us attention. So learn these stories and share these pictures. And we've got several of them in my trainings that I've done and people and on the calls. So learn to do this because that is that person that's in for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, accumulating wealth, developing an extra stream of income while they're working on a residual income for the rest of their life. It can't get any better for $499 to do your business, keep yourself in business, and $105 a month getting a product of value to keep your doors open. Now, what else could you do in the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years with funds like that, that even gives you half the opportunity of making a $500 check for the rest of your life, or up to $12,500? That's powerful. And when you start making that $500 check, you'll be just like the story we try to teach you to learn about Bruce Harris, the Idaho potato truck driver. And I was down under him. All my volume went up to him. and it put tons of volume in his bank. And he just kept doing until he got somebody over on his pay side. He didn't even sponsor the person, and he had all the volume, more than he got paid on, coming up on his right, but he had one on his left and one on his right. He got a $500 check every week. Whoa. And he finally found another person. He ranked up and he became a copper, got a $1,000 check every week. Learn Bruce's story. He retired from trucking. He didn't make that kind of money in trucking, working the 60 and 70-hour work week or more. Learn these stories because it can happen to you, and it can only happen to you or to people you get in if you're engaged and you're involved and you're learning how. Remember, you got to learn how. 2 years to learn, 3 to 5 years to build a big business. And so since I talked about income, I talked about income illustrations, we are so pleased, and I'm really pleased. I love sharing the first income disclosure that 7K put out, and I really like giving the second one because we've added, we do have presidential goal, but they didn't have enough data. We just had our presidential goal come in, and they're in my group, Phil Godlewski. And you know, this is just, you know, I'm privileged. I got my left team, I got my right team, I got executive goals on my right team, I got lots of executive goals on my left team, I got presidential goal, I got a whole bunch of goals, a whole bunch of silvers on both sides. I mean, that can happen to you, but it can only happen to you if you're doing the business, if you're trying to learn how. If you're not trying to find, well, why is this? Why is that? If you're not trying to find fault, if you're not trying to find, well, what you need to be is coachable and teachable. There's not a question a new person's going to bring to the table that's not already been brought up in this last 5 years, especially on prices of our products. And if it's been working for so many thousands of people already, hey, just dispense with all that. Just get into the questions of how you do it and how you can get these kind of incomes generating for you, and understanding those, how you handle objections the way we have over the last 5 years, and the way we'll be bringing as new products, new things come, situations come, we'll be bringing them to the table for you to use for the future. Here's our income disclosure for 7K. I recommended you to take the time to go download it. It's at the bottom of the website. You can download it. You can pull up a PDF. You can print it out. You can read it. But I encourage you to read it. And I thank you for your time and attention. And join us with 7K. And join your person that reached out, wanted you to watch this video. Join them. Take a chance. Get on board. Heck, just do it. That's the way to do it. Just do it. This kind of opportunity doesn't roll around many times in people's lives, and this one is your opportunity. I thank you and look forward to seeing you along with the rest of us on the beaches of the world in 7K. I still need to share that. I'm so sorry. On the beaches of the world with 7K. Thank you for your time and attention. We have a question and answers as soon as I shut off this recording. Somewhere around here. I guess I gotta stop sharing, huh? One second. Here we go.